Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talk about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. All right, we got a lot to get to today, okay? So we're going to get right to it. There's a couple of things that we need to realize going into this game against the Chiefs. Number one, we don't have a very good scoring offense. I think we're like third worst in the league at 17 points a game. Not very good. Well, the Chiefs are pretty good defensively. They're only giving up 20 points a game. So, yeah, when those two collide, doesn't seem like it's going to be a very good thing for us if we play the way we've been playing this entire season. We got to switch something up. Something's got to change. We can't just keep doing the same thing over and over again. We also have some turmoil going on with the roster. Not only did we lose Colton Miller, but it looks like Brock Bowers is also going to be out again this week. And today, which is Thursday, when I'm recording this, Jacoby Myers missed another practice, his second practice in a row. He hasn't practiced this week. There's a lot of rumors swirling around that he's going to get dealt. If Jacoby Myers doesn't play this week, it's going to be pretty hard for us to move the ball through the air because we're left with a couple of rookies, Trey Tucker, Michael Mayer. Like, it's getting pretty dicey, okay? There's specific things that we have to do in order to make sure that we're able to sustain drives. And that's my first key to this offense this week, is to sustain drives. The problem with our offense is too many 3-and-outs, too many turnovers. Our defense averages 35 minutes on the field. So our defense is out on the field a lot. That's why they get tired in the end of the games, and we're giving up, big, long plays and big drives. And in the Chicago game, the defense was wiped out, man, at the end of the game. That's why Caleb Williams was able to, go down the field and get that scoring touchdown at the end. And a lot of stuff that's happened in the past that has to change. The first thing I think for us is we need to have a mindset of what direction are we going to go. There's guys like Jacoby Myers on this team who I've been very critical of, even before these trade rumors started swirling. A few weeks ago, I think I was one of the first ones to bring up, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was heading into the Colts game, that Jacoby Myers was not doing a very good job run blocking. And he's normally a pretty good run blocker. And he's just been missing a lot of blocks, not even touching guys and letting guys get off blocks really easy. And it really stood out pretty bad against the Colts. And then we're seeing it even against the Titans. He whiffed on some blocks. It was pretty bad. And it's kind of getting to the point where it's like, is he doing any good on the team right now? Like, he's not out there catching 10, 15 balls. He's not out there getting 100 yards receiving and getting touchdowns. What is he bringing to the table, for the offense, right? He's not moving the ball, with his catches. What is he doing? So that's a rough one, man. So it's going to be hard to sustain drives, but we have to find a way to do it. Now, the 3 times that the Chiefs lost, the way that teams found ways to sustain drives was twofold. Number one, Kansas City had a lot of penalties, okay? So that really helped out the offenses quite a bit. So we can't bank on Kansas City having a lot of penalties, okay? But the thing that we can do is look for the quarterback to get first downs. So the 3 quarterbacks they lost to, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, and Trevor Lawrence, all guys that can throw big arms and they can run. They were able to get a lot of first downs with their legs, keep the clock running, and score with their legs. So that's one thing that you can do with a really good secondary, is to pressure them with that run of the quarterback. It's going to be tough, man. Geno Smith didn't look very nimble when he was sliding. I think he may have tweaked a knee or something like that. Who knows? He's not on the injury report as far as he's practicing and everything. So we'll have to see how that goes. But the Raiders have to find a way to sustain drives. If it's quick dump-offs or outlet routes or safety valve routes, that we can have someone available for Geno Smith to throw to so he doesn't have to force the ball down the field. We have to find a way. If it's not Geno Smith, it's got to be somebody else to help him move the chains and get those positive yardage. We can't have negative plays against this defense. They're going to crank down. They're going to pin their ears back, and they're going to make it very difficult with that strong secondary of theirs. Now, the secondary isn't as good as it's been in the past, but they're still very good. There's all McDuffie out there. They have Drew Tranquil. There's all have some guys out there that can make some plays. So we have to make sure that we take advantage of any crease or any little gap that we can find to make sure we get positive yardage even on busted plays. That's another thing. We got to make sure to establish the run early. It doesn't matter. It could be a game like the Patriots game or like this last game against the Titans where, Ashton Jeanty didn't have a ton of yards, right? But he was able to run the ball out, control the clock, move the chains when he was able to. And it's going to be difficult, man. Chris Jones is a badass, dude. He's, Jeffrey Simmons, Chris Jones, those are like two of the top defensive tackles in the league. And what we're looking at here is a way to really find an identity up front, especially on the interior. We have to get nasty. We have to get mean. We have to figure something out. We're going to hear a little bit from Jordan Meredith at the end of this video, but he's a guy that's going to have to step up, man. He can't just get his ass kicked the way that Jeffrey Simmons was kicking his ass last week. Chris Jones is better than Jeffrey Simmons, and he's, a leader on that team, a leader on that defense. We got to make sure that we have a plan to take care of Chris Jones. Have a plan for him to make sure that it works the majority of the time. It's not going to work every time because he's a perennial All-Pro, maybe even a Hall of Famer. But we got to make sure that we're able to figure out a way to still run the ball, even though Chris Jones is going to be primed to attack anything in the backfield. That's a big thing for us. So 1 and 2 really kind of lend themselves together. We have to make sure that we sustain drives. So that means we have to get positive yardage even on busted plays. We have to find ways to Geno Smith to get maybe 4 yards on a scramble, just hit the deck, right? Like I said in the other video, do a Hogan leg drop so you don't have to slide. Just drop on your butt and give yourself up, right? Get some positive yardage. That's better than throwing the ball away. That's better than putting the ball in danger. That's better than getting sacked. We have to make sure that we do that. On top of that, the run game is going to be huge because it's going to eat more clock up while keeping the chains moving. Here's the last thing. We have to make sure to not commit penalties. We have to stay as penalty-free and as turnover-free as possible. That's going to be huge for us. We have to take the ball away. We can't give it away. We can't give away possessions to a team that's been scoring like 31 points a game in their last 3 games. And they're getting Rashee Rice back. No, dude, we can't. It just can't happen. We have to take opportunities away from them, not give them back. With the way we've been scoring, we have to make sure to do a few things on the peripheral. These are the main things here. Sustain drives, get the running game going, and no penalties, no turnovers. If we can do that, we can keep this game close. The way that we can take the lead in these games is 2 things. Number 1, we have to get Michael Mayer going. Brock Bowers is probably not going to play. Michael Mayer is going to be huge against these linebackers. Michael Mayer is a big target, dude. He's a big guy. He's like 6'5", huge guy. He's hard to cover. We have to get him the ball. The way that we use Brock Bowers, but more of a traditional tight end sense. If we can do that, we can own the middle of the field, and it'll give Geno Smith a little bit more of an opportunity to throw the ball out wide. On top of that, we have to make sure to design some plays to give us some deep shots down the field. We've done it in the past where we have the dink and duck offense and we have those route combinations that get the guys deep down the field. We have to be able to do it. If we don't take deep shots, it's going to be almost impossible for us because not only are the Chiefs really good defensively as far as giving up points, only giving up 20 points a game, they're one of the best teams defensively in the red zone. You go from one of the best to our offense being the absolute worst team in the red zone scoring touchdowns. We're only at 45% red zone trips to touchdowns. So it's going to be tough, man. But the thing is, we can't go into this game and keep doing the same things we've been doing over and over again. It's just not going to work. We have to try something different. We have to adjust. Maybe we have something in our back pocket that we've been saving for this Chiefs game. I don't know. But whatever it is, we got to pull it out and we got to use it. Giggity. Okay, so let's take a look at what offensive coordinator Chip Kelly had to say about the week of preparation and going against that Chiefs defense.
Good.
Chip, we saw Jacoby Myers pop up on the injury report with like a knee and toe injury. Is there any concern level of you guys not having him?
I think at this time a lot of guys are banged up. I remember Jason Kelsey telling me a long time ago that the injury percentage of an NFL football player is 100. So everybody's going to get hurt. But he should go today, so we'll see how it goes.
Chip, on Geno's interception, it seemed like it was more of a total breakdown more than anything that Geno necessarily did.
Yeah, we had a protection breakdown. There was a guy coming from his left, actually a guy coming from his right. So he didn't have enough time to really set his feet. But we always talk about that. Interceptions aren't always on the quarterback. They're on everybody. So we got to protect it better. We had a miscue with the route. So it was a compilation of a few things. So besides that, I thought Geno played a really clean game, completed almost 75% of his passes, was really efficient throwing the ball, did a nice job, especially got to his 4th read on a touchdown pass to Mike. So I was really happy with how Geno played.
Focus is always, it feels like it's always on Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, but they've played good defense for a long time now.
No question. Chris Jones, that's his name.
Right.
Chris Jones, if anybody doesn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of them. Trent McDuffie's a perennial Pro Bowl player, and Spags has done an unbelievable job. And, he's one of the top defensive coordinators of all time in this league. So, and they've all been together for so long. So I think it's I think you're spot on. I think that defense doesn't get enough credit. And we understand it's an offensive game. And so the Mahomes and the Kelseys, who deserve it too, but they got some really good players and really good coaches on that side.
What is the challenge of going against the Spags defense?
I think with Spags is that he does everything, but he does everything well. There are some people that try to dabble in everything, and they're not good at anything. But he has a way, in whatever his system is, that their players truly understand what they're doing. They work in sync all the time. Linebackers will drop as deep as defensive backs. Defensive backs will play up front. I think they can mix and match who's playing what positions. You'll see a linebacker as a D lineman. It all fits together when you watch the tape of the 11 guys all working in unison. But then one of the things that struck us when I'm just looking at the depth chart overall is how many years everybody's been there with him, and Bolton's been there for a while. Tranquil's been there for a while at linebacker. Chanel's playing really well at linebacker. Chris has been there for a while. Karloftis, another Pro Bowl player at the other defensive end to go along with McDuffie and the guys in the back end. So they all are. It's really, really well coordinated. They'll give you some blitz zero, but they don't do it all the time. They'll give you some cover two. They don't do it all the time. They'll give you middle close cover three. They don't do it all the time. They'll give you some man, but they don't do it all the time. They really give a lot of different looks and do them all very well. So it's tough to say, hey, when we get to this area of the field, this is all we're going to get, because he's so varied in what he does and his approach. That's what makes it difficult. The variety of what he can come after you with, there's a lot of it. So our guys got to be prepared for everything.
Going back to Jacoby, his numbers have gone down over the last 3 weeks. Is it because how defense are playing against him? Like, what do you think?
It's a combination of that. I think we've run the ball a little bit more in the last 3 weeks. So when you're running the ball, you're not throwing the ball, so you can't run and throw at the same time. So it just depends on what the game plan is and where we are. Some of the games, the Chargers game where we were behind, we threw the ball a lot more in that game just because it was a 2-score game and we're trying to get back in the game. So a lot of it sometimes ends up being a byproduct of the game. When you're in a close game like you were against the Bears or up like you were against the Titans, you're obviously going to run the ball more than you throw the ball. So I don't look at it on a week-to-week basis. I look at it over the season. And, he's obviously our wide receiver one. And, I know everybody that faces us and the coverage and the attention that he commands. I think everybody else in the league knows that too.
And
Go ahead.
speaking of talking about Ashton Jeanty, just like what has stood out to you over these last few weeks? Do you see him getting more comfortable?
Yeah, I think any rookie at this point in time is just getting more comfortable. We're all a byproduct of our experiences, and the more snaps he gets, he didn't play a ton in preseason. In the off-season program, it's not live. So the real action started when we started to play the Patriots, and you've seen him steadily improve from week 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And that hopefully that improvement continues as long as we go through this whole season, because the more experience he gets, the more reps he gets, the better he becomes, which is a great thing about him. He's a real coachable guy, and it's just a matter of getting him as much experience. That's the case for all rookies, and he's doing it. He's taking advantage of the reps he's getting, and you can see his improvement from week to week.
This is probably the loudest environment you'll be in so far this season. How do you prepare for that?
Yeah, Pete cranks music, but really, really loud, when we're out there, so that, you really have to rely on hand signals a lot. You got to be really, Geno's got to really get it enunciated in the huddle, so our guys know what to do. And then when we get to the line of scrimmage, we've had experience. Obviously, it's a division opponent, so these guys have been there before, except for probably Ashton. Everybody else has been there or spent a game there or played a game there, and it is probably the loudest in the NFL. So our guys got to be prepared for it. So the only simulation you can do is to really crank it. I think we'll be inside today, but one of the reasons Pete wants to be inside is to make sure that we can make it so loud to try to simulate what it's going to be like there. So and you can never really simulate it, but you can try to get as close as you can. And our guys have to be really sharp with our cadence. With our communication and making sure we're all on the same page.
Chip, I know you've dealt with this in college now in the NFL, but bringing the challenge of sometimes bringing a freshman or a rookie along while also trying to win games. There can be some kind of not a fine line, but a challenge to that. Is there a challenge to it? And what is?
Yeah, that's for all, whether you're a freshman or whether you're a rookie. As I said earlier, you're a byproduct of your experiences. You just don't have the experience. Just because you haven't been there, that doesn't mean you're not talented, you're not capable. It's just, you don't have that bank of memories and plays and reps to kind of fall back on, but you just got to go with what you got. The one difference between college and the NFL is the depth of your roster. So it's hard to say, hey, we're going to sit a guy and let him develop over time, because everybody's got to play on game day. You carry 3 running backs on game day. You carry 4 or 5 receivers. When you think about that, you're playing in a game and you have some 4 receiver sets and you have no subs. So if they go down, if you have 2 tight ends in the game, there's only 1 tight end on the bench. And if one of them gets hurt, then the other guy's got to go in. And it's not like, hey, I'd like to bring him along slowly. You can't afford to do that. So you kind of throw them in the deep end, and they all can swim. Some swim better than others, but they continue to get better and better. As I alluded to earlier with Ashton, I think you can see improvement on a weekly basis, and he'll continue to grow because he is so talented. So I think that's part of it. 2
of those receivers that you're talking about are rookies. Of the 4 wide receivers are rookies. How are they coming along? And
same thing. They're in the same boat. The 3 of those guys, Jack and Dante and Ashton. Obviously, Ashton has got a lot more reps, obviously deserved reps, at that spot, but because we have a little bit of depth with Trey and Jacoby out there. So it's the same thing for all those guys. It doesn't matter what position you are. When you're a young player in this league, it comes at you fast. You look at Cam, and I think Cam Ward for the Titans is going to be a really good quarterback in this league. But, I know how hard it is to play quarterback when you're a 10, 12-year veteran in this league. And to see him come in as a rookie and actually function and operate, you can say, wow, that's impressive, because there's a lot of things that defensive coordinators are throwing at people nowadays, and to be able to decipher it all while the play clock's going down and the crowd noise and all the other things is that's a pretty tough task. So for anybody that's playing as a rookie, whether you're an O lineman, a running back, a receiver, quarterback, whatever, my hat's off to you, because this is hard.
Last week you guys had to deal with Simmons. This week you mentioned Chris Jones. How much stress and strain does that put on the interior?
Same thing. I think sometimes when you have a defensive end, you can slide protection to him or run away from him. But when the guy's smack dab in the middle, that makes it really difficult. And Simmons is as good as I saw. And I said that last week, and then not looking forward. And then everybody knows of Chris. And then, the second week to go against one of the top interior defensive linemen in the league it's a challenge for all those guys. It's a challenge for Jordan and JPJ, and for Dylan on the inside there, and it's really similar to playing Simmons from one week to the next week. You don't get a little reprieve, so that's just part of the deal. I mean, he's a talented football player.
What's it been like working with wide receiver Chris Beatty and the work he's done with those guys?
Yeah, I think Chris done an outstanding job. He's sharp. He's a really, really smart football coach. He's got a great football IQ. And he's been around some really good people. He's got some really good ideas, and a lot of the stuff we do is because of what he brought from some of the other places he's been in, and really good packages. And so, with the youth in his room, how he's brought those guys along, it's been really impressive to watch.
That's good.
Thanks, guys.
There you go.
I mean, you kind of hear from the tone of Chip Kelly talking about the Chiefs. It's going to be very difficult. They have a very sound and a very disciplined defense, and they don't make a lot of mistakes. You have to trick them into thinking one thing and giving them another. And if you're going to find a way to break tendencies and break patterns, this is the game to do it. This is going to be one of the better defenses that we face this season, and we have to give them everything we have, everything we got. We're not good enough, like man on man, to be able to line up against this defense and say, okay, we're just going to beat you and we're going to whoop you every single play. It's just, we haven't shown that we can do that. Could we do it? Sure. These are all paid players. They're all professionals. They're all freak athletes. They're all good football players. Yes. But you have to understand, just like Chip Kelly was saying, this group has been together for a long time. They understand this defense really well. We have to make sure to break tendencies, to make them think one thing but give them something else. And that's going to be a really big challenge for Chip Kelly and company moving forward. Now, one of the guys that really needs to step up and do even more than he's been doing so far is Ashton Jeanty. Ashton Jeanty is going to be huge in this game. We have to run the football, but we also have to be productive running the football. This is going to be the first time he's going to have a game like this. Now, we understand that, yes, we played the Chargers and all that stuff, but this is a different type of environment. Now, I don't know how many times he played in the environments like this, going to Boise, but this is something that is going to be different. And he's going to need to really bring the thunder with these guys, because honestly, as of right now, it doesn't look like we're going to be able to have that disposable type of offense where we're just going to be like, oh, let's give him a couple runs here and give him a playoff there. No, we're going to need Ashton Jeanty to really get out there and hammer it every single play. He needs to be productive. He needs to find his way into the end zone. He needs to be smart by converting and get that clock running and keep the ball moving. Let's hear what Ashton Jeanty had to say about this week coming up with the Chiefs and the environment and how he's feeling about it. Let's check it out.
Ashton, it seems like you're getting better week by week. Is the game starting to slow down for you a little bit?
Yeah, most definitely, and just getting more comfortable with the scheme, and then obviously being able to study teams and different players week to week, and just enhancing my abilities and getting better at my details.
Saw you singing a football song throughout the game on the tape.
Football, man.
Are you just having a lot of fun already as a rookie?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have fun when you're out there. It's a tough game. Stuff doesn't go your way, but I'm always gonna have a good time out there on the field.
What does this game mean to you? I mean, obviously you're out there having a good time, but what is just being able to have that opportunity? What does this mean to you?
I mean, it's everything right now. This is, my everyday from when I wake up, whether I want to or not, football is always on my mind. But, to have this opportunity is, it's rare, I'm a 1%er of a 1%er, not too many people get to be here. So I'm just thankful to be here, and, I keep that approach every single day, just having perspective.
What do you know about the long history and rivalry between the Raiders and the Chiefs?
Yeah, man, I mean, seems like them boys don't like each other, but, I'm a part of it now, so I'm excited for it. Rivalry games are always a lot of fun. It's going to be a little more chippy, playing harder, so I'm excited for it.
Do you feel like you guys put together a blueprint on Sunday on how this team needs to play to win games, and how encouraging was it that blueprint was followed and the results followed?
Yeah, I mean, we know we want to, run the ball, establish a run game, and, be able to pass and run play actions off of that. So basically being a balanced offense, and, both of them work together. So continuing to build on that and being able to bring that to life each and every week.
I read recently that you gave back money to save a restaurant that helped you on your way up. Is that accurate? And how much does it mean to be able to do that and be able to give back?
Yeah, that's not accurate, but a lot of fake news out there. But I do give back, but even then I'm working on starting foundation and all that. But I think giving back is important for sure.
Speaking of your past, I know you're focused on what you're doing this week, but there's a big college game with your alma mater with Boise and UNLV. First of all, you're going to keep an eye on it, and second of all, I mean, Boise's been on top of this conference for so long. Now they're exiting, obviously. What do you think it is about the program that's kept them turning? I know you were part of 3 of the wins over UNLV.
The culture, the winning culture. Been one of the most winningest programs for a long time, so bringing the right people in the building and continuing, to keep that mindset of, trying to win no matter what and always be on top. And then, obviously big game. We can't use these to UNLV on the blue, man. You can't do that one.
Ashton, everybody loved obviously the longer runs, but as a running back, how important and vital are those smaller runs for 2, 3, 4 yards towards setting the tone?
Yeah, those are everything. And, you got to continue to, wear the defense down and, get those grittier runs. And those are the ones that set up the big ones throughout the course of the game.
You guys good? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep.
Not too much from Ashton Jeanty, and you really wouldn't expect him to really reveal too much. I think he understands how big this game is. I think he understands his role in this game. And like you said at the end, those short 2, 3, 4 yard runs, those set up the big ones. He's going to need them both. He's going to need to be able to move the chains, get positive yardage. We can't get negative yardage. We can't get our ass kicked up front. It just can't happen. One of the big catalysts to have our offensive line really perform the way it needs to is Jordan Meredith. Jordan Meredith hasn't been heard from a lot. He's kind of a soft-spoken guy. He's a little bit smaller, more athletic, but he can't get moved off the point. He can't get whooped, okay? He can't get whooped up front. He can lose, he can get beat, but he can't get straight up whooped where he's just been tossed to the side and we're getting tackles for loss. We can't be behind the down and distance. We can't do it. We have to make sure that we're on the field, pushing the ball, sustaining drives. We can't do that if our interior offensive line is getting manhandled. Jordan Meredith is going to be a big part of that. Let's hear what he had to say about what's happening right now as far as the team goes, the preparation going forward, and the game against the Chiefs.
And communication is always important, especially when you're going to Kansas City. It's going to be a lot out there. So getting the call in, communicating with the other guys, them communicating with me is going to be important. And then kind of the same thing. Anytime that you've been playing for a long time, you deserve respect. So that's exactly what we'll give them.
So Chris Jones, obviously Hall of Famer, potential future Hall of Famer. What's the key, I guess, to trying to slow him down? You're not going to stop him. He's going to know his plays in there too.
Yeah, I mean, like earlier, you said communication. So I think communicating, knowing where he's at, is probably going to be very important. And then other than that, just sticking with your fundamentals and techniques that you work on during the week. So we, have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We stay here and we work all day and try to get better at the fundamentals and use that in game.
Last question I have, because most of you guys on the line have all played at least one game in Kansas City. Yeah, how important is that to have that experience going in such a loud environment where you are going to have to be doing things maybe a little differently?
Yeah, I mean, I think any away game you're going to have to use the silent cadence, right? Or at least most of them. So just really locking in on hearing Geno's cadence or the play call within the huddle, just locking in on that, and then going out there, communicating on the line, getting it done, and then getting the ball snaps can be important.
How's the team in terms of mental reps to this one to help being that it's a division like where you go in a little bit of a different attitude?
Yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, at least to me, maybe to other people, I just try to focus on the day that's at hand, and then after that, we'll get to the next day and the next day. I try to not make anything bigger than what it is. So, yeah.
And last one for me, just with Ashton's kind of increased workload and just the running game getting going more so. How does that kind of help the flow of the offense?
Yeah, I mean, you hear from whatever middle school or high school about how important it is to have a balanced team. So being able to run the ball helps the pass, and being able to pass the ball helps the run. So
I believe that was Heidi Fang had a really good last question about balance. Balance is definitely going to be key in this game. We have to be able to run the ball, suck in that defense. We have to be able to hit over the top for big plays. We can't just go inch by inch by inch every single drive. And we want to do that at times, but we have to hit this defense with big plays in order to be able to make sure that we get these touchdowns and not just field goals. A lot of things going against us right now. We're not a very high-scoring team, only 17 points per game. That sucks. Also, Chiefs don't give up a lot of points, so that doesn't bode well for us scoring a lot of points, right? Also, this Chiefs team, they've scored like 31 points on average the last 3 games. They're really kind of hitting their groove, and on top of all that, they get Rashee Rice coming back. They've been kind of downplaying it. Oh, we got to kind of ease him back into the system and ease him back into the game. I doubt it. It wasn't like he was injured and he came back and we have to ease him into the system. He was suspended, so he's healthy. He's been working out. So I think they're going to be a heavy dose on offense of Rashee Rice. So we got to make sure that we can keep up offensively and not make this a blowout early. We're not equipped to come back from like a double-digit deficit. We're just not. We have to make sure we stay within 1 score striking distance or get ahead. We have to keep pushing. And once we get ahead, we have to keep scoring. Field goals are not going to cut it against this team. We have to get the ball in the end zone, and that's going to take every single person. There's always at least one unsung hero. I think a couple of years ago was Trey Tucker with the long catch. We got to make sure that there's somebody out there that's going to be offensively somebody that's going to really help us. Zamir White was big for us last time we won up in KC. We have to see who it's going to be. Is it going to be Jordan Meredith? It's going to be Jack Besh. It's going to be Dante Thornton. Who is it going to be? Who is the unsung hero, the guy that you're not expecting a ton from, but actually comes out there and has a big game and a big impact offensively? We're going to need at least 1 or 2 guys to go up there and make it happen, because this is not going to be easy setting against the Chiefs this week. But everybody can be beat, and everybody is beatable in the NFL. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. It's the bare minimum you can do to support the channel, besides doing nothing, just watch the video. On top of that, we have the Shield Society. Shield Society is a membership. It's only $5 a month. It's really cool, man. I think you guys are going to like it. Basically, what you do is you get the videos right away. You don't have to wait for them to be scheduled. You get, as soon as I upload them, you get them right away. On top of that, you get a watch party with me. You get to hang out with me, watch the game with me, hear my analysis, hear my takes. You can give your own takes too. You can be on the show, on the screen for yourself. Say what's up to all the boys. Who else is going to give you that? So, guys, give me your comments below. What do the Raiders have to do offensively to make sure to keep up and even surpass what the Chiefs are doing on their offense? We haven't been scoring a lot of points. I think 17 points a game is not great. We have to score at least 10 more than that, 27 points or more, in order to have a chance to beat these Chiefs. What are we going to do? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the main guy to do it? I need you guys to do one thing for me, though. Tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody. Raiders versus the world is the greatest thing going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.